member quite interesting, quite funny, really. So, you know, there's very little bitching going on between us.
If you miss the train I'm on, then you know that I'll be gone. Lord, I'm 500 miles away from home.
You're crying this one.
Bullshit. I'm one, Lord, I'm two, Lord, I'm three, Lord, I'm four, Lord, I'm 500 miles away from
Lix is crying too. We're always crying that song. Because we were so far away from home, from our families and our friends.
500 miles. Lord, I'm 500 miles away from home. Not a shirt on my back, not a penny to my
I am crying. Must be the harmonies.
This away. 500 miles, 500 miles, 500 miles, 500 miles. Lord, I'm 500 miles away from home.
Obviously, Nick's the head of the group, and when it comes to deciding about things, you know, we'll discuss things. But then, obviously, if it's anything that is relevant to everybody else, it gets discussed with them too. They're all band members; they have to kind of like what we're going to go ahead with as well.
He'll wrap you up in his arms, tell you good boy. He'll rekindle all the truth, lifetime to destroy. He'll reach deep in a hole, he'll shrink his soul, but he won't you know he's going back. He's a ghost, he's a god, he's a man, he's a guru. Well, there's just his name through this disappearing air, but his code is a red rock.
I think that if we attempted, which we've never ever considered to do, and I don't really think we would know how to go about doing it, but to try and be a fashionable group, or to try to do a record, for example, that was relevant to what was going on musically at the time, we would fail dismally, and it would be the end of us, I would say. It takes me quite a long time to build up a relationship with somebody, and once you have a trusting relationship with somebody, then you know, why find new people?
I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? What they're really saying is, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Ich schätze und habe immer geschätzt, was Nick macht. Halte ihn für ein wirklich großes Talent in mehreren Hinsichten, also sowohl als Schreiber als auch als Sänger und vor allen Dingen als jemand, der eine todsichere geschmackliche Einschätzung hat.
This is a weekend song. It's strong in which to wait. While all the men and women sleep. This is a weekend song, but I won't be weeping long.
Er ist eine sehr wichtige Person, nicht nur von der Musik. Also das ist für mich sowieso an zweiter Stelle, die Band oder so. Das geht darum, dass ich die Leute als Person kennengelernt habe. Und dann haben wir gesagt, wir spielen zusammen. Und sonst, oh ja, wir haben Höhen und Tiefen durchgemacht. Und das ist eine viel längere Geschichte, als es die Musik zeigt.
I think it's really, for me, it was that thing of getting at his ideas in such a way that, like, you know, nothing really gets in the way of that. He's really so focused on it. That was the thing that really inspired me the most, seeing his songwriting approach, and also as a performer as well.
Well, he really does have a muse, and it's not me. It's a real one. It's not human.
Blues ist das ja letztendlich. Nick Cave ist ja ein King der Blues-Sänger, würde ich behaupten.
When you walk into where to talking to, well, I don't know.
Not many people key into the fact that he's got an incredible sense of humor, because, you know, the music is really serious and the writing is very serious, it's very heavy, and there's not a whole lot of humor in it, just because it's so intense and it's going for such a deep thing. But when you hang out with the guy, he's just, he's really funny.
He needs to have people around him all the time. He has a great deal of difficulty on being on his own. That's why if he doesn't have people around him, he has a video on. If he doesn't have a video on, he's going to the cinema. You know, I mean, he once told me that travelling business or first class was the perfect situation for him, because he'd be on a plane, he'd have his drink served for him, he'd have a choice of videos to watch, and he'd be able to sit down there, and he preferred it to being on the land.
Right. Feine Cruz, Kilmagil. Mas pecados castigados San Jesus. Feine Cruz, Kilmagil. Feine Cruz.
We have a kind of relationship that goes back to being at school together, and we kind of hung around in the same group, you know, we were playing together in a band already, but we weren't like best friends or anything. And so I think really our friendships gotten better over the years, if anything, and probably even got better through all the crazy years too.
I'm Nick Cave, and I'm going to read to you from my book, And the Asks of the Angel. Thank you very much, sir. I don't want to say too much about the book, except that it's about the central character is a guy called Eucrid Eucro, who is a mute. He can't speak. And he is the loneliest boy in the history of the world.
It was his brother who tore the call on the morning of their birth. And as if that sole act of assertion was to set an inverted precedent for inertia in his life to come, Eucrid, then unnamed, clutched a hold of his brother's heels and slopped into the world with all the glory of an uninvited guest.
I have a tendency to look at people and say that they are good people simply because they're interesting. And what's interesting to me in a character is their faults and their problems. And so I'm basically writing about dysfunctional, faulty, bad people, if you want to use that word, and they're all kind of heroes of mine in a way.
The house of cards leaned, hung in the air for a moment, and then collapsed. And so did the frail edifice of Pa's mind. Pa leapt from his chair and threw himself across the room, picking up all the speed he could muster, while his wife drew long and intimate upon her bottle. He slammed his head into hers, hammering her head face first against